Raising Unicorns.
Harmon Brothers.
Welcome back, Keith,
Welcome back, Shane.
to another episode of
Marketing Headlines.
It's time for the marketing headlines.
Target. Big fan of their marketing.
Yep.
They've done a bunch of stuff we've featured on the podcast before.
Yeah.
But they have a new campaign. It's called That Target Feeling. And they're taking, I think this is brilliant, they're taking some like 2000s pop songs, putting new lyrics to them about the experience of shopping at Target.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I don't feel like any other retailer has ever captured the love of like, I'm going into Target like to buy some stuff and coming out with a million things, or the dollar aisle. Like Walmart never did that. Kmart, are you kidding me? But like Target's like retail experience is so much better and elevated than someone over like Walmart. Mm-hmm. So I think they captured it really well. I'm going to show you the video. Okay, you ready, Keith?
Bring my card inside so I can see. Check it out, me.
So, okay, a couple of things that I thought was really brilliant about the campaign.
Yeah.
One is it's clearly targeting millennials who are now coming into the point where the millennials are making a lot more money, their disposable income. It's also the target audience for Target.
Yeah.
As well as like Target's done a really good job of unifying their branding and imaging inside the store. So if you go to, like when you and I went to that conference in Florida, we went to a Target to grab some stuff. Everything's uniform. Everything is very similar, very familiar, even down to like the InMotion, like hanging like displays from like their private label brand InMotion.
Yeah.
Everything, even the cameras on the self-checkout, and they capture some good, like very relatable moments of like, I've checked myself out in there. I'm like, how's my hair doing? Pretty wild because my new hair product isn't doing well. I think they tapped into their love group really, really well.
Yeah.
And captured the joy of shopping there. It feels like they talked to a lot of their customers, got insights out of what they actually enjoyed about shopping at the store and why they liked highlighting certain things, right? Or certain products that they love, they have partnerships with.
Yeah.
So I think they got I think the principle that I took away from this is really understanding, because the campaign's title is That Target Feeling. They understood what customers liked about shopping at Target really well and built it into the ad campaign, built it into the lyrics of the song. I know that sounds so simple, but it's so easy to get lost in data and not actually just go talk to customers. And that's like a thing when we talk to a lot of people who've worked with other agencies, they're surprised by that. They want to just talk to real humans rather than be like, give us all your data that you have out of your Facebook account or give us survey data. And I'm like, survey data doesn't capture the actual human emotion and sentiment that like just going and interviewing a real life person and hearing their nuanced language that they use and how they describe it. Because there's stuff with like chatbooks and stuff with Skull Shaver that when we were writing, we actually had real, using the actual like customer's language and put that language in the script, because that's how people actually talk more casually about it than some overly refined piece of marketing copy that we tend to come up with.
What can brands be doing to kind of unify that? Like you said, when you walk into Target, you know what you're going to expect.
Yeah, and this
it's kind of harder with e-commerce.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think it just depends on like unifying your feel across all the different channels. Because I think it's very easy for TikTok to be like, oh, it feels totally different from all the channels. But I think there's design language that you can unify. Like Kodiak Cakes is a brand who's done a really good job of, they have lots of different like voices, and they even taught like their creative director, Brett Miller, who's a champ. Brett, what's up? Like he talked about with us, like when we were doing some like, Kodiak Cake world building stuff versus customer like world building. Like it was okay to show like a modern, house that has white interior paints. Yeah. Because it's like, it's in the customer's world using their product. But then if they're going to do something that's like officially on behalf of like Kodiak Cakes, they want like something that's very designed and stylized. So I think it depends on the placement that you're putting it and what channel you're showing and how you're showing the customer versus like a brand message. But always having those unified design elements throughout wherever you're appearing on the internet, whether it's on your Facebook, whether it's on TikTok, whether it's on your landing page, whether it's on your packaging, having those, like there's a handful of like assets that Kodiak Cakes has everywhere throughout the whole thing, whether it's their signature cardboard brown box or some of their typography textures that are in all of their branding and all their websites, but just having a handful of those that you sprinkle in throughout where there's, theirs is really good because theirs is very unique and stands out. If you walk down the pancake aisle or breakfast aisle, theirs just is so starkly different.
It's
great. Pops really well. And so I think that's like an important thing of asking what's good about my brand that I can call out, like it's a very hero color or pattern that we can sprinkle throughout everything. So it can still be different and unique to the channel and whatever the placement is and whatever the context of the media that you're creating for it. But having that through line all the way through, I think is very important.
End of story.
End of story. All right, Keith, what you got?
Do we want to do Adidas or an Apple update?
Apple update, duh.
Apple update, duh.
Duh.
So Apple just released some commercials on the heels of their apology with the smashing,
Crush ad.
Crush ad. Everyone says it wasn't as good.
It wasn't as good as the Crush ad.
Oh, so with the Crush ad, it was more creative and it seemed like it had more of a purpose. These ones felt more just like
here's an ad.
It's
lukewarm.
It's the product.
Any shit around here. You look away, poof, they're gone.
Yep, that's it.
I mean, I will give Apple this because for a long time, Apple did almost no demonstration. It was all branding. Like if you were the iPod campaign where it was just people dancing with a super cool colorized style. I feel like they are trying to show more applications of their products. That was a good product demonstration. I just think it was a miss on the writing.
It was, and all it highlighted was Find My.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like it's also like it's a feature that's like not like a shockingly like unique feature anymore because I feel like they've had that for a long time. And it's not like they just added it to MacBook or a device that maybe didn't have it before. Like when they did it for AirPods, that was like a big deal on the next generation AirPods because they didn't really have it. But that's like, I feel like there's a lot of things they could do cooler, like for a lot of features, especially because they just had WWDC yesterday, and they announced a ton of new OS updates with like their text messaging,
and the AI stuff.
There's a ton of stuff, and especially like with the AI, they had like this is like such an Apple thing to do. I don't know if you watched the keynote.
I did not.
But they basically said like you can create images using AI, but like they've trained it. And you can do it like inside Keynote. You can be like, I need an image that looks like this. And you can choose a couple different styles. It can be like
should have been that way forever.
Sketch styles or like cartoon style or or Illustrator style. So they have like these three, and they all kind of stay very unique and unified between the three. Mm-hmm. And you don't have as much control over something like Dolly or what's that other one? I can't think of it.
I know what you're talking about. Midjourney,
where you have like huge amounts of flexibility. It's more just like, no, here's the three different styles. I hope they add more, but like here's the three different styles, and it's like they've kind of trained the AI to stay within that guardrail. Yeah. But then it's like you have more of a reliability of like what the image looks like. But like could have shown something like that, or how AI is used with contextual like understanding around like your notifications or around your like calendar. Yeah. But I mean, it's like Find My. It's like Find My's been around for like 10 years now. It's like
found my ginormous laptop.
My laptop. Not even like not even your phone or your AirPods or something, It's like, oh my, like the biggest thing that Apple sells that's not a desktop machine. I found it.
Here it is.
Here it is.
I will give them the production quality was very upscale.
It's always beautiful at Apple. They have I think they have an in-house advertising team. Yeah. And they always do a phenomenal job.
But lukewarm after their like weird apology.
Yeah. Which is, again, I don't think they should have apologized. Yeah. It was a tone deaf thing that they did that was just kind of like, is this really the spirit of Apple?
But I would have taken that over this because at least it had more substance.
Yeah, that's just like, it was very deep, like, safe.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, was that guy supposed to be like Thomas Edison?
I don't know.
Or just a creepy college professor who was like
just some forgetful old man.
Well, I think it was a miss. Yeah. Apple's had a lot of advertising. To be fair to their internal team, I feel like it'd be really hard to have a team that was known for, well, I don't think the internal team at Apple did the 1984 commercial. I think it was an outside agency. I think it might have been Ogilvy. But it was a big agency who did that one. He spent a ton of money on it. But their internal team has had so many good hits. I feel like it would be hard to like always hit that high bar. Especially coming off of like a huge miss, like the Crush campaign.
Like the Crush campaign.
Where they're like, we got to play it safe. Just make a feature really clear.
I hate people that play it safe.
Boring. Well, what's the principle we took away from that one? Don't be boring.
I do think it goes into like knowing what the customer wants, right? Everyone knows about the Find My. It's not that important. I don't know why people needed that.
The only people I can imagine that maybe targeting is trying to convert like Android users that don't have it built into Android OS.
Yeah.
Or at least that I'm aware of. Well, and I also think even the execution of like demonstration could have been better.
Oh yeah.
Like it was just like, oh, so this guy's talking to her as she's looking for her laptop, and then she finds her laptop. That's it.
Yep.
Like I feel like you remember those like design ones they did during COVID where they did the circular pizza box mini series. That one was so creative because it was talking about COVID at the time, and it was this design team, and it was talking about like a real product. Like that was really interesting. I feel like they could have done a lot more interesting thing, like to use Find My in a more clever way, whether it was like someone stole their laptop and they're like trying to chase them down, and it was totally accidental. It's a meet cute or something like that. Yeah. But like it just felt like such a meh, like it was like benign. I know that's how you usually find things with Find My. It's like, oh, it's under my bed, or oh, like it fell down in the seat of my car. But still, like if you're going to take people's time and attention, make it interesting and clever, and still showcase you can find your crap. Yeah, you know.
A good example of this would be that murderous CEO lady.
Oh, the Lifespan Fitness.
Yeah, that was a little more risky.
Yeah, it was more risky.
And like everyone knows about a treadmill.
Yeah,
everyone knows how a treadmill works.
Desks,
yeah, it's just like, but finding a creative way to advertise it. I mean, it felt more pointed just because we're like, here's this statistic. Sitting down will kill you just as fast. Yeah.
Or even like Skull Shaver, where it's like we wanted to demonstrate that you could shave anywhere in seconds. And so we had him walking through like 10 different scenarios where he was walking, shaving his head.
And that was a beautiful shot.
Yeah. And it was a cool shot. It was visually interesting. And it also kind of showed you can do it anywhere. It's super fast, type thing.
And it was a little more risky.
It was a little more risky. Next one?
Next one.
What you got next, Keith?
All right. You ready for this?
Oh, yeah. I'm ready.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's award season.
It's award season.
It is award season. So the Tellies, I think they just had their regionals or whatever. You have the Webbies. You have the Addies just happened. Chicago Marketer of the Year is going to be announced pretty soon. So just like, I don't know if this is necessarily a news article per se. The cool part about those awards is you get to see where marketing is going, like in the commercials themselves. And what a better way to just like sit down and watch a bunch of ads at the same time.
And see what's working. Yeah. Well, I think the interesting thing about the Telly Awards too, compared to something like the Addies or like the Effies or Webbies, is those ones, they have certain criteria that the judges will go through and grade them on. So they could have a bunch of people that get bronzes, a bunch of people get golds or silvers, and nobody gets silver or nobody gets golds if it doesn't meet that standard. Yeah. And we've gotten like 3 or 4 golds, I think, over the years. But it's like an interesting way of doing it where multiple people can win at different brackets. But there's many cases where nobody meets the criteria for the gold, which I think is kind of a cool way to do it.
It's like, really cool.
It's like, no, if there's not a one that's good enough, we're not going to give it first place if it doesn't meet that threshold. So I think it's just a different way of judging. Yeah. But I do think it's interesting to see what the criteria is and like how they're being awarded. And I don't think that the award season necessarily correlates to how effective the advertising is. No. But I mean, listen, in the Effies, it is. But
well, I mean, they do have best campaigns, which goes over the overall thing.
Yeah, right. But I think just seeing like where really good ads are being made, and being able to see like, because usually they have like blurbs about their campaigns, and seeing what like effectiveness it has had for those people is a really good resource to be like, what's going on? What are other agencies doing?
Yeah, and so if you're ever in the market, it's a great place to, because that's where everyone's going.
That's where everyone's going. That's what all the kids are doing.
So that's the end of that one.
Well, that's a good point though for agencies. If you're looking for like certain categories or certain types of ads, that's a place to go to like get some inspiration and see also where the market trends are going.
Yep.
All right. Is that it, Keith?
I think that's it.
All right. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Marketing Headlines. Okay.
Thank you for watching Raising Unicorns!
Subscribe now.